I would like to open this session with a Quran citation. I would like to invite Mufti Arman, who just flew in from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to attend the session. He is also a Rohingya, born in Arkan.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم.
Thank you very much. Uddin is a PhD doctoral candidate, and he is not only doing doctoral studies, PhD, he is very, alhamdulillah, knowledgeable and fluent in Islam. Today, before I go to honorable speakers, distinguished speakers, I would like to give you some idea about how serious this issue is, that the depth and width of the problem of Rohingya people are facing in the genocidal campaign by the government of Myanmar and the Buddhist radicals against Rohingya people. I would like to call on a couple of witnesses to give you a personal story on a personal touch that they have suffered. I would like to invite to the podium Sister Sabura from Arkan, that she personally witnessed and suffered these atrocities and genocidal campaign fight by the government of Myanmar and the Buddhist radicals. Please, Sister Sabura, please come to the podium.
Assalamu alaikum. Jama'a Rasulullah ke pare. तो काम बाजे दुआज़ा बुर्मा जो ये मामला है कनाई शिंगुल लायला.
I'm going to do translation for you in English, and sister said she is going to describe what happened to Rohingya Muslims in Arkan.
दुआज़ा मासे दुआज़ा बारे में जे कोई ना या मामला नोई बा आगती फारातों में जे मिलिट्री कॉल बेको वाइन में वाली तो तुम्हारा ले आया बॉडी से कॉल अटैक बॉडी ना मारे बात तुम्हारा ना साउथ को मिला चीज़ इंगलो है तो मुसलमान कॉल बेको शांति बॉडी तक के आरा ले किसी को बॉडी से कॉल तो राइट बारवा बाजीगिया दुआ बजे इतना मिलिट्री को बॉडी गिरो तो मंगो कॉल गोली गए हाथी वाले गोली गए.
In 2012 violence, the Burmese Rakhine Buddhist forces came to Rohingya villages and told them that they have heard that there may be a turbulent situation, and they came here to provide protection to the Rohingya villages, and they surrounded the Rohingya villages and told the people to stay in the village, not to get out of the village, go anywhere. And then a couple of hours later, all the soldiers, Rakhine police and Rakhine army, Burmese army has disappeared, and then Buddhist mobs moved in and attacked Rohingya families, and you can see that that's planned. The forces, Myanmar forces came and told the Rohingya villagers not to go anywhere, means they are going to be confined so that they can run away, so that they planned the attack.
तो बारे गौर रे जला दे फाइंड दे तो मिटा जो कि सुम मार कि सुले ना वाले निदा जान रे पास है रे तेरा दाई फाइंड रे अनुपुर वाले दिए तो बुरा बुरा मानुष को दूर ना मारे बुरा बुरा मानुष कला हारियारे अनुभूत झाले ते तो बच्चा फिर बेंच का अनुभूत झाले ते तो जॉन माई खाने कला तानी यार जुल्मी वाले यार जुल्मी बुरी वाले पुलिस बंदूला मार वाला हारी वाला निला.
She said that in her own eyes she witnessed that the Buddhist mobs, backed by Rakhine police, Buddhist police, has attacked the Rohingya Muslim families in the house. They have killed the household members. They have killed the children. They have killed the elderly who cannot even walk. And they have thrown, they set the houses on fire. She personally saw in her eyes. They have set houses on fire and threw the children to the fire. And also they kill the elderly and throw them in the fire, burn them. And they pull all the young women and they rape them in front of her eyes. And not only rape them, they have shot them after raping and killed these young women who were raped by these Rakhine Buddhists and Burmese forces.
आज ती जांबाज बाजा ती ती या कैनल बुतरी तेरा हाय ना वाले लोई ना वाले पन्ना बुरी ना वाले तो आरे दे ना यार चांदी योरी तेरा ना तो तोने की गोली तिबा दे कैन गोली बहुबा दी तेरा ना कना तोरा कन खुशी गोली गोलो.
So they left. They have to leave their villages. They left, went to IDP camps. Many of them are IDP camps. Many of them have left somehow to Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Bangladesh, wherever they could find a refuge. And they arrived here, and then they are thanking the government of the United States and the community, interfaith community, and resettlement agencies, United Nations Refugee, UNHCR, and others, that they have changed their lives to bring this in the country so that they do not have to worry about getting killed anymore, and they are seeking your support in this country, that they want to advance the Rohingya cause through your support in this country.
शांति बोलते हैं कि औरत शांति लगा आराम नहीं था तो आराम रोहिंग्या मी रोहिंग्या जनरेशन हम लाल हाँ मिजान नमाज़ पढ़ने में अल्लाह की दुआ मांगे आराम रोहिंग्या का होते शांति भाई बोलते हैं होते मरना बुरी बारी हो होते शांति बुरी मामला मीता तो मुझे से बुरी बारी हो आराम आएगी आराम मामा आराम भाई बोलते हैं तो ताई की हो इतना जिंदगी लाल तो तुम्हारा खाना करी help me रोहिंग्या please help me.
We came here to this country, we found a refuge, and we are not happy. Although we have a secured life here, we have to worry every night. We cannot sleep because for those who have left, for those who we left behind in our homeland, and we cannot find peace in our lives. No matter where we go, we still have to worry. And your help, we hope that your help, our support to our cause can only solve this issue. So that's our testimony to you, that how a person herself has witnessed in front of our own eyes what happened to her neighbors, what happened to our villagers, the atrocity. These are all part of the plan by the radicals in the government in conjunction with the monks, radical elements in the country. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Samuel Shropshire, who is the founder of Muslim Voice for Peace and Reconciliation. Mr. Shropshire have gone to refugee camps, and he has personally witnessed the plight of Rohingya in the camps, and he will give a brief statement in English.
I would say that I've worked in human rights for 35 years. I came to Islam 3.5 years ago through a good friend, Shafi Zubair, who is a Rohingya, who brought me to Islam. I'm very grateful. Because of Shafi, I decided to go and take a look at for myself in Burma, Thailand, refugee camps as well as in Bangladesh. What I saw, I have never witnessed in my 35 years of work in human rights. In Bangladesh, I was able to visit UNCHR, United Nations refugee camps in the south. There are 60,000 Rohingya in refugee camps. Many of them have been there for 20 years. It's an unbearable situation. Nobody should remain in a refugee camp for 20 years. But the worst is on the streets of Bangladesh. 240,000 Rohingya refugees, many of them children without parents. Their parents died either in Bangladesh or while they were en route through the jungle, through the forest to get to Bangladesh from Arakan. Thousands of children living on the street, trying to survive, many of them selling drugs to survive. Many of them being sexually abused to survive. I pray that something can be done to make this issue more known throughout the world. We as Muslims have an awesome responsibility to care for our own. There's enough money within the Muslim world to take care of the situation. More needs to be done. Thank you for letting me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shropshire, for giving your personal accounts on what you have witnessed in the Rohingya refugee camps. There's only tip of the iceberg. There's only a small portion what Mr. Shropshire described in Bangladesh. You go to Thailand, they call it detention centers. They don't have any refugee camps. Detention centers. There are 10, 15, 20,000 Rohingya men, women, and children are there, and they have been sold to human traffickers. And there are reports from writers we have seen that authenticated reports that these women and children, and they are being trafficked to sex slave industry in southern Thailand, the old people crisis, and many other things. So this is the refugee camps in those countries are dire situation. And not to forget the refugee IDP camps inside Myanmar, inside Burma, in Arakan. They are targets of human traffickers. They are selling women and children for the sex industry and other hard labor situation. I'm going to get started now with the speakers, but I would like to give you a quick overview of the situation and then update you on the current status, and then our distinguished speakers will have 10 minutes each to give their perspective. And then at the end, after all the speakers speak, and then I would like to take some questions from the audience for any speakers that you might want to address too. As you know, the situation in Arakan, you have just heard, has not improved. It has not improved. On top of that, they have gone from bad to worse. We have heard all the stories. This is what happened. I want to give you a very quick brief. This what's happening in the Muslim plight of Muslims, plight of Rohingya, is all pre-planned. It's part of the national strategy because of the government of Myanmar and the Buddhist radicals have developed this genocidal strategy to eliminate Rohingya population. If you look at the Roman statute, read the articles, what is genocide, and look at what's happening to Rohingya, you cannot separate them. We often, international community, go to backstage to say bravely that it's a genocide or not, but let's go by definition. Then we will argue whether it's genocide or not. We don't want to be diplomatic. International community wants to do something diplomatic, but reality remains what is happening in our country. These are people, and government has done this. They use monks, they use radicals to cause the violence, so that, this is the tactic, strategy they use. Government of Myanmar does not want to address the core issues of citizenship that they have taken away from Rohingya people. They don't want to address the core issues of human rights that include freedom of movement, free to marry, freedom to seek higher education, land ownership, free to worship, want to pray. You don't have that freedom. That all series of human rights violations. Myanmar government does not want to address that, so they will develop a distraction strategy to distract from the core issues of violence. So now, after 2012 and 2030 violence, they stop the violence because they can stop it. They can create. They have the strategy. They are the masterminds. So they stopped it. Now, what would happen? International community want to do anything about Rohingya issue? They say, "Oh no, we cannot do this. It will create instability. It will create violence in our country. So let's not do this." You see, this is the whole idea. The tool, the instrument they are using as violence. Anything they want to do, they use Rakhine as an excuse, as a reason why they don't want to do it. They are not allowing international NGOs to go and provide humanitarian assistance. International community asks, why cannot we go there, give the assistance to all people, Rohingya and Buddhists, all, not just Rohingya, all people affected by this violence. And they said, oh no, you cannot go, we cannot let you go there because it will cause violence. So. Give the citizenship back to Rohingya. Return of IDPs, 140,000 Rohingya and Khmer IDPs are in camps. 21st century concentration camps. That's what New York Times calls it. They went there and they saw it. They call it 21st century concentration camp. They are not allowing the Rohingya IDPs to return to their villages in 13 townships. What's the reason? Verification. Or they have to verify. We know how to verify they are really from here. What they did, they burned their villages. You heard the story. They lost all the documents. They did not take any nationality cards, NRC cards, phone call show. All what they have, family registration card, everything. They lost everything. They don't have anything. Now, how they can produce? What they can produce show that they are not from there. These are all pre-planned. The situation is very dire with the verification process. They are demanding now that they have to be verified that they are from there, not from somewhere else. And they come with green card ideas, pink card ideas. They gave the white cards and took them away. So this is what is going on. There is a crisis after crisis we are facing now. Before we can address one crisis, there's a second one. So we cannot go to the first one. Before second one is addressed, a third crisis. You cannot go to the second one. These are domino effects we are facing. So right now, there's very little room to talk about citizenship. Now, every day, there's bad news. Last week, 2 weeks ago, on top of all this, bad news was that religious conversion law. Okay, marriage law, these kind of laws are there passing. You read those laws and you read the 1935 Nuremberg law in Nazi Germany. Article 1 to Article 7. Article 1, 2, 3, please read that. Only thing you are not finding there is a Rohingya movement. This is the 1935 Nuremberg law from Nazi Germany is revisiting Myanmar in this 21st century age. And this happening under the watchful eyes of the international community. These are serious situations we are facing. So we have conversion. A Muslim woman can marry a Buddhist man, but a Muslim man cannot marry a Buddhist woman. Religious conversion law, the same thing. Muslim can convert to Buddhism, but Buddhists cannot convert to Islam. Or a Christian minority, a Christian religion for that matter. These kind of laws are being passed 2, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Again, last week, 2 weeks ago, Rohingya MPs who were officially elected, the citizen Rohingya MPs, they were banned. They cannot contest in the election. They won the election, 2010 election, national election. Now they said that no, you are not from here. You are not citizen of Myanmar. You cannot stand for election. So they denied all the Rohingya MPs, not giving permission, and banned them from election. And then comes Rohingya voters. This is the first time in the history of Rohingya, in Arkan, in Myanmar, the Rohingya people are not allowed to vote. 2010 election, they were able to vote with using the white cards the government gave them. Now they're taking away white cards. A few months ago, 6 months ago, projecting this, what's happening today, to deny their voting rights. So Rohingya people cannot vote, Rohingya people cannot stand for election for the first time in the history of Burma. So these are the situations. We can go on and on. These our distinguished speakers will give their perspective. Personally, they visit the places. But one thing I want to mention that what can we do? What can we do? The solution is outside Burma. Inside Burma, they have marginalized Rohingya community. They are threatening to arrest. They are beating them. They cannot speak out for the rights. So international community is the answer. We have been a strong advocate in the international community. Our Rohingya Union and Burma Task Force and many other organizations have been a strong advocate of Rohingya cause internationally. We have made tremendous progress. United Nations General Assembly. We have 4 or 5 resolutions about Rohingya and Myanmar. United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. We have 4 or 5 resolutions. Recently, a couple of months ago, there was a strong resolution proposed by OIC, sponsored by Pakistan, alhamdulillah, and it was passed in Human Rights Council, United Nations in Geneva. You have resolution 4, we have resolution 418 US Congress. Inshallah, we are pursuing for another one in Senate. So, Canadian Parliament has had a hearing. There's a hearing about Rohingya issues and the Capitol Hill many times. So internationally, we need to keep the pressure on Burma. The word I always use is sustain. We have done effectively this work throughout the world, but we have to be careful not to drop the ball, not to slow down. We have to sustain the momentum. We have to increase the momentum so that Burma government looks for windows where things are sliding, and then they will do the bad things. Boat people crisis, there were international outcry 3 months ago, right? And they did something. Now boat people crisis, international outcry has subsided. So they are going back to what they have been doing for Rohingya people. So we need to sustain the momentum internationally. You American Muslim Ummah, you have your congressmen, you have your districts, you have your senators. You need to reach out to them and voice your demand that as an American Muslim, you are asking your senators to support the resolution in Senate, in the House, and to pressure White House to work with Foreign Relations Committee and others in Capitol Hill, and work with NGOs like United to End Genocide. Very effective, alhamdulillah, in Washington. So that's what your job is. You can make a difference. Rohingya people in Burma is trying, but you know their situation. Every one of you counts. Every one of you counts, lending your support. You don't have to put financial support always. Your moral support, political support, humanitarian support. There's all kinds of support we can lend. You know, being here is significant support. Being here just listening to our speakers. You can do that. And you have a moral obligation, moral responsibility to save a community in the world, in one corner of the world, where Burma is about to disappear. They are headed for extinction, and you can save them. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.